What's good? It's Brittany Sunshyne. Welcome to Flower and Fire, where we revelate, reflect, and remember to dig deep as we keep each other company along the way. And don't forget to believe in your daydreams. Let's dive in. I'm just a person, in case y'all didn't know, like everybody else, so take it or leave it. Chew the meat, spit the bones. If it doesn't resonate, go on with your bad self. Don't stress. Whatever. What do I know? So when we look at a timeline, we look at a time in a line in our culture, and it helps us to visually lay out how we perceive events. But really, time is actually spherical, like a ball, not linear, like a line. But if you do look at it, if we want to use the idea of like watching a movie, I come from the background of being raised in organized religion. The most positive roots that I grew were really through personal study of the written word and a lot of like worship time independently. So I'm not saying that I don't do that. But what I am saying too is that there are things that have been demonized by the organized religion that are not evil. Look at what they did to Yeshua, to the one they called Jesus. They literally thought he was. They were accusing him of being demonic because he was doing things that were considered new age for their level of understanding. And really what he did. So imagine a movie. Imagine a movie where, we know how the movie ends. What did he say? I saw Satan fall like lightning out of the sky. Like, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was with God. He said, "Light be," and it was, and it evaporated the darkness because light extinguishes darkness. That's what we're doing. That's what we're all here to do. And so, anyway, when people send scriptures as if we're all at the mercy of this foe, it's just, I'm like, okay, yeah, you're tuning in, like you have the remote in your hand and the timeline is like a movie and you're in the middle of the movie. You're at the part where he wasn't struck down yet, So just keep watching it or fast forward if you want. So like I am ever living at the end of the movie where I know and I am attuning to that dispensation. There's no reason why we can't. There's no reason why we shouldn't. He said it's finished. I don't know if he could be any more clear. When he said to tell us that I paid in full. I don't know if he could be any more clear for us about what that means. The only thing keeping us from living in that is our own lack of revelation, our own inability to stay focused at the part of the timeline that we're in. We keep rehashing what happened at all these different parts, and we're not focused on the post upper room revelation. And it requires ongoing tending to our seeds. It requires ongoing tending to our garden. It requires ongoing willingness to submit and humble ourselves to new revelation, to higher revelation than what we have been spoon-fed by the ones who came before us because they didn't have any higher revelation. So anyway, it's not that it's one of those, it's a non-issue. It's not that I don't believe all that. It's just that it's not relevant. It's not relevant anymore. It's a defeated foe. Yeah, he's still trying to fuck people over, but the only way he can do that is by them not understanding what a defeated foe is, and also not being given the proper tools to apply the finished work to their life. And guess who's the ones in religion that's not giving the people the proper tools, telling them meditation is bad, telling them, to write the vision and make it plain. Hello, that's in Habakkuk 2:2. Write the vision, make it plain, so that those who read it may run it well. There's all these spiritual principles that have been these universal laws that when tapped into are extremely effective, because they're just like the command on a computer that has been programmed by the creator, by the programmer. Like, Control Alt Delete, yo. Like, it just does what it's programmed to do. Command V, paste, abundance. We Command V, we paste abundance into the fabric, into the story of our existence. It is so, and we give thanks. And now we get on with our purpose, because all of creation is awaiting the revelation of the sons and the daughters. So get to scripting, get to meditating, visualize with the fullness of revelation, and with experience it in yourself. It's Psalm 129, and we were like those who dream. So by the way, when they're saying that, it's like they were legit living this. They're like, this day came, and it was such a culture shock to what we have been experiencing being enslaved, that we were like, is this a dream? Ooh, is this a dream? Like, this feels like a dream in the best sort of way. And it's like, it was such a dream trip moment that they couldn't help but laugh. They're just like laughing, because they're like, I can't believe, like, this is real, but I can believe it. Don't let your language betray you, yo. They're like, oh my gosh, like, this feels like a dream. And people are looking at them and they're like, wow, like, the creator life has been good to them. Like, not everybody makes it out like that. And that can be us. We attune to it with this expectant hope. I think sometimes we go through these different moments of revelation of who's on our divine team and the different players. And, you'll hear in some circles, like, your higher self. And that was a very, like, taboo thing, because it's like, when you're in religion, you're like, you just thank God, you just thank God, you just thank God, and it's like this whole higher self. It's like, well, I shouldn't get credit for anything. But just when you see that it's your eternal self rooting for your present self, like, there's nothing wrong with that. We're all made in the image of God. It says that, let's connect some dots to make this make sense. And it moved me when I thought about my eternal self, giving me the abundance for my path, knowing how committed I've been to this thing. Yeah, I was wrong times, and I was off. I didn't know a lot of stuff a lot of time, like, I was taught wrong, quite frankly, by somebody whose favorite phrase was, I'm not wrong, literally. So talk about that fucking confusion. So anyway, all that being said, that moment between me and my eternal self, she's like, I got you, girl. I know you've been putting in the reps. You've been putting in the work. You've been putting in the commitment and the devotion and the true authentic desire to do well by the path, like to do well by the mission, to complete the mission, to even figure out what the frick the mission is, you know? So anyway, there's something beautiful when you have that moment with your eternal self and you realize that your eternal self has been with you all along and is rooting for you all along. And if it were up to your eternal self, so it is and so it shall be. Whatever, the exceedingly and abundantly far above anything you could ask, think, or imagine, whatever it is available to you and will be indeed sent to your paths so as soon as you are in a space where you truly have removed all blocks from receiving. I had this revelation about this subconscious fear of having too much money. you know, and it goes against what we cognitively would ever think about. It's like how could that be possible? Like why? You know, it's almost like on the surface level you'd be like, oh, I'd never be afraid of that. But it was these weird little side angle fears that I had to, like, they were like so in the just right outside my range of sight. It's like the corner of my eye, you know. I had to look, and then I was like, wait a minute, what's that? Excuse me. Please make yourself known. And then kind of just like, have you ever had an afraid dog? Where you just be like, no, it's okay. Like, it's okay. You don't have to be afraid. It's okay. It's okay to receive. And I remember praying for years, like, don't bless me, Lord, until I can handle it. Don't give me something that will destroy me. As in, like, too much money or whatever. And let it be known that I am at this very beautiful, healthy, I believe my roots have grown to a point where I can be trusted with it now, you know. I've lived through some things. I know what matters to me. I know what doesn't matter to me. And it may not make sense. It may not make sense on the outside to an onlooker, but that's part of the maturity, is to realize it doesn't matter what an onlooker would think. This is my path, my treasure, my assignment, my identity, like, and I am the one that's responsible for every resource that I've been given. You better believe I'm going to make it count, while also living in the fullness of the liberation of freedom. It's a wonderful place to be. Check out SeedSoilWater Spa. There's a really cool revelation of divine identity visualization, guided visualization on there, where it walks you through like this moment of encountering your divine revelation or your divine identity revelation. And so maybe if you're like, I don't know who the heck I am really, or like what the point is, what I'm supposed to be doing, those moments can at least, it can just facilitate space to encounter. So anyway, I hope you enjoy it. I hope there might not be anything crazy that happens. You could feel like nothing happened on the first pass, you know, and then you can come back to it in a couple days or in a week, or just trust that the seed has been planted and allow the path to lay out in front of you as you focus with intention on the discovery. And choose to focus on it from the end of the movie, where you know that it is finished and that everything works out, and that everything that came before you was either a blessing or a blessing in disguise that would later reveal itself for the bigger blessing that it was. Allow life to just be the teacher that it is, and don't get caught up in the dogma of what's right or wrong and who's out to get you and who's not. And like, that shit can be distracting. We're all here as students, learning, evolving, growing, maturing. Forgive yourself for what you didn't know and keep it moving. Just realize we're all here learning, growing. There's just so much more grace for self and others when we choose to take on that perspective of realizing that nobody came here perfect. Trust in knowing that there are ways to discover how to up level, how to evolve, how to step in. And it's possible. It's possible for you. Be blessed, be well, be free.